The MCU is filled with memorable moments that have made us both laugh and cry over the years, like soul-crushing moments like Tony Stark's death. But sometimes even writers in the MCU can falter, and we end up with scenes that just miss the mark. From a joke that didn't quite land or dialogues that made no sense, in this video, we're talking about the cringiest scenes from Marvel that fans hate the most. First up, Doctor Strange and that unfortunate third eye. Unfortunately for us, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had a whole series of cringy moments to choose from. The film is already a debatable one, with Marvel venturing into a lot of new territories, even putting an element of horror into the world of Doctor Strange. We have one question: why? The results have left fans everywhere divided. While some loved it, others like us found it severely lacking in several aspects. One of these is the awful use of CGI for Strange's third eye. In the film, Sinister Strange, one of the variants of Doctor Strange, has a third eye in the middle of his forehead. By the end of Doctor Strange 2, our main Strange also gets a third eye, or the Eye of Agamotto, shortly after using the Dark Hole. While this reveal of the third eye is a super important moment in the film, fans were left disappointed everywhere, because with all the money in the world to buy graphics and a stellar team, Marvel came up with this. Up next, Twitter claps back. Twitter users were quick to point out how bad the CGI was, and posts dissing Doctor Strange's strange eye quickly racked up hundreds of supporting likes and comments. One user even pointed out that the third eye looks like the annoying orange, and we literally can't unsee it now. Personally, for us, the biggest problem lay in the inconsistent quality of the CGI. It somehow looked passable at some points, but absolutely terrible at others. When Sinister Strange came on screen, there were moments where the third eye didn't look too bad, even a little realistic in one way. But with the post-credit scene, it truly looks like something that shouldn't have been there. As we said, Doctor Strange 2 is filled with cringe moments. Despite all the bizarre visuals, horror movie-esque jump scares, and a morbid-looking hero, nothing was scarier than one scene that they never intended to be scary in the first place. Yep, you might have guessed we're talking about the scene with Wanda's children singing the most unsettling and bizarre song about ice cream we've ever heard. While Billy and Tommy seem like nice little boys who genuinely love their mother, Doctor Strange 2 definitely fooled us with their innocence when they whipped out that wild card of a song out of nowhere. Next, the song wasn't even improvised. To no one's surprise, the ice cream song became one of the most shared scenes from the film. Everyone was creeped out by the oddness of it all. Apparently, Jack Klein and Julian Hillard, who played Billy and Tommy, confirmed that the ice cream song wasn't even improvised. It was an actual part of the script that they sang. Poor kids. We can say that without a doubt, this is one of the strangest and creepiest moments we've ever experienced coming from the MCU. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness isn't your traditional horror movie, but it has been directed by Sam Raimi. So when two kids started singing, "We like ice cream" like every child should, in those high-pitched voices, we definitely got worried. Come to think of it, it's hard to think of a moment when kids showing up in a horror movie has been a good thing. Children of the Corn, anyone? See, we can't understand why Doctor Strange 2 decided to make a seemingly tender moment between Wanda and her kids so unsettling and uncomfortable. Couldn't the two have just begged her for ice cream like normal kids? Moving on to Captain America and the awkward kiss. Despite everyone having a lot of love for Captain America in general, one part of the film is something we just can't get over. The kiss between Sharon Carter and Steve Rogers, played by Emily Van Camp and Chris Evans respectively. What makes this extra awkward is that not only was this relationship never seen until then, but it was also never really brought up again. Weird. What made matters worse was the fact that the end of Avengers Endgame revealed that Sharon was actually Peggy Carter's great niece. The same Peggy Carter who's been the Captain's greatest love of his life. Doesn't it make this a tad bit incestuous? Yeah, that just makes things really weird. It seems like the Captain was perhaps transporting his feelings for Peggy onto Sharon, especially since the kiss came shortly after Peggy's funeral. Did nobody from the MCU marketing team notice the optics here? Honestly, we should all thank our lucky stars it was only one kiss and not a full-blown relationship. That would have really blown our minds. And now, a possible relationship. Marcus and McFeely actually revealed in an interview that the first couple of drafts for Avengers Infinity Wars had included the return of Sharon Carter with a fully planned relationship between Cap and her. They'd even be living together. Thankfully, the idea was eventually dropped when the plot line went towards focusing on Thanos' storyline. We'll take snapping half the population away over the forced romantic encounter any day. Fans were kind of relieved when Sharon Carter was reintroduced in the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, confirming that the kiss was put to bed. In fact, even Emily Van Camp was happy that she could move past that awkward encounter and focus on the growth of her character. Let's talk about Jane Foster as Mighty Thor. Do you remember that scene in Thor: Love and Thunder, when Jane Foster is trying to come up with a cool catchphrase as Mighty Thor? Yeah, not as cool as they thought they were looking. In fact, the entire scene was super cringe, especially when she said the catchphrase when fighting. We visibly shuddered. Apparently her catchphrase, "Let's bring the rainbow," which nearly made us gag. Sorry for the explicit visuals. wasn't even the worst thing that she came up with, according to Valkyrie. The scene only makes Jane Foster's Thor seem less endearing than she should be. Portman's character also doesn't seem to match the comedic wit and timing of Hemsworth, Thompson, and Waititi, who all got to hang out and bond as a hilarious trio during the filming for Thor Ragnarok. While we know the delivery of the line was technically meant to be funny, it just felt really awkward and forced. Don't get us wrong, we really do like Jane Foster and we like her as Thor as well, but her superhero side is definitely a work in progress. Well, as long as she's doing well and saving people from pure evil, we can forgive this one and let her work on getting a cooler superhero persona. Wrapping things up with MCU's lackluster idea of women empowerment. The final battle at the end of Avengers Endgame is remembered for a bunch of reasons. It made audiences cheer when Captain America's weapon of choice showed up and got our adrenaline pumping every time we saw Thor grace our screens. Okay, that may be a personal favorite moment of ours, but the one big showy moment that fell really flat on his face was the sad attempt at women empowerment by bringing all the MCU women front and center. When Captain Marvel is tasked with transporting the Infinity Gauntlet from one end of the battlefield to the other, the scene suggests she'll need some backup, and lo and behold, the backup arrives in some sort of front-page ready formation of all the MCU women. Seriously, this isn't a Vogue center spread. You're literally fighting a supervillain who's about to lose his from Scarlet Witch to Valkyrie and even Pepper Potts with her own Iron Man suit. Everyone, and we mean everyone, shows up to fight big bad Thanos. While we're all for supporting women in stellar roles, what makes this moment cringeworthy is the fact that throughout the MCU, they chose to do so little with all the female characters and often did them wrong. And finally, the show of feminism. To go from that to this in-your-face, look at how cool we look and how many women are united. The scene just felt empty. This wasn't the kind of girl power we were looking for, and is so telling of the fact that it comes from a studio that took 20 years to make a female-led movie. Are we supposed to be eternally grateful for this radical show of supposed feminism? Want to know what the MCU is in a nutshell? 8 men in a discussion on how to save the world are business as usual, but 10 women standing on screen is a big moment. We rest our case. That's a wrap for this video. Do you have any other cringy moments from the MCU we might have missed? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.